Cuba's President Miguel Díaz-Canel and his Iranian counterpart Ibrahim Raisi signed several memorandums of cooperation enhancing bilateral ties in several areas. In Greece, the death toll of a shipwreck off its coast rose to 79, while rescue efforts remain fruitless. Russia stressed its commitment to avoid a nuclear war. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. On Thursday, Iran and Cuba signed several agreements on economic, commercial, and cultural cooperation during the visit of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi to the Caribbean nation. An integral cooperation program to expand the collaboration between Iran and Cuba was among the agreement signed, as well as a memorandum of understanding on political consultations aimed at expanding communications between the foreign ministry of both nations. Iran and Cuba also signed agreements on customs-related issues and on the training of customs staff. On the other hand, Havana and Tehran agreed to increase cooperation in computer science and communications, as well as in the application of justice. Before the signing of the agreements, Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel received his Iranian counterpart Sayyid Ibrahim Raisi at the Palace of the Revolution in Havana. During their meeting, both leaders highlighted the historical ties between the people and governments of the two nations. Earlier, the Persian leader made a brief speech at the Cuban-Iranian Business Forum held in Havana, where he stressed that his country and the Caribbean nation has achieved great progress in the field of biotechnology and had a potential to cooperate in areas such as energy generation, mining, and technology exchange. Among the objectives of the visit of the Persian leader to Cuba is the strengthening of political, economic, and scientific cooperation in line with the foreign policy of the Iranian government. The trip is a continuation of the actions carried last February by the Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian in Havana, where he explored the files of cooperation between both countries. In May, the then Cuban Deputy Prime Minister and today's Foreign Trade Minister Ricardo Cabrizas had meetings with the highest Persian authorities, including the President and the Foreign Minister, in which both sides confirmed the fraternal relations between the two countries. Iran's First Lady Jamalina Amouholada visits on Thursday the University of Havana, where she met Cuban intellectuals and women leaders of different sectors. During the visit, the First Lady emphasized the importance of a woman's role in society, in the family, and in all revolutionary processes, and how the family becomes the base of resilience to any society who is bombarded through as media such as Cuba and Iran. On Wednesday, in Guatemala, social and human rights organizations have exposed some 48 cases of alleged electoral political clientelism or the patronage concerning resources assigned to dependents of the administration of incumbent President Alejandro Yamatei. The plaintiff promised that they will be submitting the supporting evidence to the competent authorities like the Supreme Electoral Tribunal, the Public Ministry, and the General Controller's Office. They also they say that the alleged case of embezzlement involved resources allocated to the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare and the Development, Agriculture, Livestock, and Food in 25 municipalities through the country. In Guatemala, court sentenced on Wednesday to 6 years in prison to the journalist Jose Ruben Zamora Marroquin, the founder of the newspaper's criticals of President Alejandro Yamatei in the controversial money laundering trial denounced by the International Press Union. The prosecution has asked for 40 years in prison for Zamora in a trial, which press organizations call a witch hunt, and took place in the middle of the campaign for the June 25th general elections. While Central America's director, Ana Maria Mendez, on her Twitter account, posted the Zamora's case represents once more steps toward the consolidation of a dictatorship. The Catholic Church of Bolivia presented on Wednesday for commissions to receive and investigate complaints from people who suffer sexual abuse by religious. The first commissions created by the Bolivian Bishop Conference are aimed at preventing the listening, investigation, and communication of denunciations of abuses of minors and vulnerable people within the church, with the objective of accompanying the victims and ensure that the case reach justice. Let's take a very short break now, but remember you can now follow us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Thursday, in the United Kingdom, a committee of lawmakers, after a year-long investigation, declares that former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson deliberately misled Parliament about the Paris blockade. The House of Common Privilege Committee's report concludes that Johnson's actions and his response to the committee constituted such as a flagrant breach of rules and data warrant and 90-day suspension from Parliament. Also, an indictment of former Prime Minister's conduct. The recommendation is largely symbolic because Johnson so angrily resigned as a legislator on Friday after the committee informed him of his finding. In Greece, the death toll of the shipwreck of their coast rose to 79 on Thursday, while rescue efforts remain fruitless. Authorities warned that many people could still be missing at sea, while reports suggesting that there were as many as 750 people aboard the vessel. The country's Coast Guard has been criticized for not intervening earlier, but authorities said that their efforts of help were rejected. Serbian President Alexander Vučić on Thursday urged Western leaders to stop Kosovo's regional authorities and prevent a new war in Balkans. The Serbian president accused the Prime Minister of Kosovo Albin Kurti of trying to provoke a war at any cost after closure of water that prevents the access of Serbians. The Arab states were led that the Kosovo provincial authorities cannot ban the import of Serbian products as maneuvers that seeks to survey the people, he asserted. On Thursday, the delegation of the International Atomic Energy Agency, headed by its Director General Rafael Grossi, arrived in Zaporizhia to inspect the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. According to reports issued by Russian authorities, the checkpoint of the city of Energodar was passed without incident. Russian authorities also confirmed that Grossi and his team have already started the fall inspection. Grossi met on Tuesday with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and delayed his trip to the plant by 1 day for safety reasons. This is the third visit of Grossi to the nuclear power plant since September 2022. On Thursday, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia, Maria Zakharova, declared Moscow's committee to avoid a nuclear war. Speaking at the St. Petersburg's International Economic Forum, the top diplomat said that Russia is fully committed to the principle of inadmissibility of nuclear war, since there can never be a winner in it, and therefore it should not be started. Furthermore, the spokeswoman stressed that Russian policy in the sphere of nuclear deterrence is limited to exceptional circumstances in the framework of purely defensive activities. Leaders of 6 African countries have left from different parts of the continent for Ukraine to mediate in the war between Moscow and Kiev. Led by the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who will welcome Russian President Vladimir Putin in a few months, the head of state of Egypt, Senegal, Congo, Uganda, and Zambia left for Poland to continue by train to Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. Last week, the South African president had a telephone conversation with the Russian president, to whom he informed about this peace mission. The African leaders claim that the Ukrainian conflict has been devastating from their economies. teleSUR English continues to grow. You can now tune in from 33 different African countries through StarSat. Dial 461 and join our Latin American alternative broadcast. From financial break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. An earthquake of magnitude 6.2 has been recorded in Mindoro province in the northern Philippines, with no immediate reports of damage. According to the United States Geological Survey, the quake started at the depth of 126 kilometers. The casualties or major damage were reported after the quake through Philippines. Authorities held operations on the 3 elevated railway lines in the capital, Manila, as a precaution. However, the state seismological agency warned of aftershocks were ruled out tsunami waves due to the thermal dip. The incursion by the Israeli troops into Palestinian territory leaves 1 dead and 2 wounded. The deceased Yemen was identified as Yalil Jain al-Anis. He died in hospital after receiving several gunshot wounds while confronting occupied troops attempting to demolish more homes in Nablus. The road crashes confirmed 2 more gunshot wounded and at least 170 people poisoned by the tear gas. In Sudan, the governor of West Darfur State and head of the Sudanese Alliance, Khamis Abdullah Abkar, was killed on Wednesday, 2 months after the start of the armed conflicts between the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces in Khartoum. Khamis' murder came 2 hours after a telephone interview with Al Haddad TV, in which he accused the rapid support forces and Arab armed militias of killing civilians in the capital city of West Darfur State. They interviewed the regional representative appealed to the international community to intervene and protect civilians, stressing that the Sudanese army and the joining forces of the Darfur armed movements were unable to intervene to protect them. The government of Kenya President William Ruto presented his budget to Parliament on Thursday that his nation faces a series of tax hikes to shore up its debt in public finances. It is Ruto's first budget since he took office in the East African powerhouse in September last year after a close elections contest. His government has drawn up a $25.7 billion budget for 2023-2024, with new or increased taxes in a separate finance bill expected to generate $2.1 billion in revenue. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also see us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English, I'm from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.